Guess who is back?
Yo, 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 it's Fat Jesus Live, social scientist. It's crazy.
We got
I
Dr.
am
Dids
hailing.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
greetings and salutations from me, or A up me duck, as they like to
I'm
say in Nottingham.
hailing all of you from the East Coast, from Virginia, United States. And I have studied within the social sciences, and I have a bachelor's degree within the field and studying right now my doctor's degree in anthropology. Still in the social science area, and I love cultures, and I enjoy and people watching is my thing. I love that. I like sitting down watching people and traveling around the world and enjoying other people's cultures. That is amazing to me more than anything else around the world, and studying how people talk and understanding how cultures work, like there are gears inside a watch. That is the intricacies of how people think or do things, and having the understanding and the compassion of people's culture, not ridiculing them or saying how bad they are. So it's just absolute love from me. And we have, guess who we have today? We have Dr. Dids with us, AI expert. And she says, I'm not an AI expert, but I'm going to be honest with you. She is more AI expert than all of us all put together. So we're going to just say she is. You got the floor.
I got the floor. Hello. Okay, so greetings and salutations is one of my things I like to say. I'm from Nottingham. So in Nottingham, there is a local colloquialism for hello, which is A up me duck. Not that many people say it. And what do? Okay, I started in the theatre, so you have to bear with in the fact that I like acting and like theatre stuff and film. And I do currently AI music and animation and short films with real people and with AI. And I have an AI podcast and an AI channel on Rad TV. Otherwise, though, I actually do quite a lot of stuff, i.e., during lockdown, I did a degree and master's in metaphysical sciences and then did a doctorate in divinity because I just thought Doctor of Divinity sounded good. But then I got really obsessed with The Chosen. And I do love ancient history. So where I am at, I volunteer at 1,000-year-old Minster, which is a cathedral, and that dates back to the Roman period. There's a Roman bath there and everything, and the building is like got like Norman and Anglo-Saxon and Gothic, and a lot of the kings stayed there, so it's rich in real history of England. So I might dive into some things about that later. And then at the moment, I've got this stupidly big project I gave myself because I wanted to write a book for my niece for her birthday, for her 8th birthday. And that's ended up turning into a massive transmedia project. So I wrote a film script. She's got 11 books. She's only got number 7, though. I've still got to write 8, 9, and 10. Wow. But I've written 11. And number 11 is actually a film script, a feature film script, which I think I mentioned before, about Lord Byron and Ada Lovelace.
You have a lot on your plate.
Is the first computer programmer. And they lived in Nottinghamshire, and a beautiful stately home, which used to be an Augustinian priory, which is also 1,000 years old. So, yeah, where I am, there is quite a lot.
Did you win awards for that?
I have won currently. I've got, I think, 2 outright wins for the script, and then 2 special honourable mentions. So I got an honourable mention at Greece International Film Festival for the script, which is wonderful because Lord Byron is actually a hero in Greece because he helped them to win the Greek the War of Independence for Greece against the Ottoman Empire. So and he was quite young, so he's a poet, and he was the first ever rock star, like the first ever celebrity rock star, but he was a literary poet. So yeah, so at the moment that's a kind of big focus, but I've got loads of other stuff. I'm just finishing off a 260-page book that I've editing for a lady who works at Newstead and has done a lot of research. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at the moment. I've got 2 short films as well that are just, one's in production and one is in post. And then I just had 2 stories as well published in a book called The Caves Will Remember, which I was assistant editor on as well, and that's about Nottingham. So yeah.
So I have to ask you, have you been able to, with all of this? I mean, you seem like you're very busy, but have you been able to publish these, or are you like everybody else that seems to hit a brick wall and just feel socially inept to from going any further because you feel like you just don't have the money to borrow from a bank or have
Yeah,
the
yeah,
people to work for you, do all the footwork around you like these big businesses, or hire a company because it costs a lot of money to hire a
yeah.
company to do all this stuff. But you seem like you're doing everything yourself. Why is that? I don't hear you anymore.
Oh yeah, we lost you. We lost your. We lost your. Oh no! Wait, no, we lost you. 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 Dids, we lost you. You went mute. You muted yourself. Oh, we lost you. We can't hear you. What about you, Jesus? Can I hear you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh yeah. It just took her mic off.
Oh, you're breaking up though. I can barely hear you.
Who, me?
Yeah, you broke up a little bit.
What about now?
She's her
Oh,
video
she
is,
lost connection. That's what
yeah,
she
she
said.
lost connection.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
It's
Uh
slowing down.
yeah, I think she was I think she oh, they got her, man. The government got her, bro. They was like, nah,
Yeah.
you ain't about to be talking about this today.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said she's a AI expert. Yeah.
Can she hear us? Oh no, she's out.
Oh, she's out. We're gonna have to get her back in a second.
Nah, but that's pretty interesting though, man. That bringing up the freedom of speech and stuff like that. I know in the UK in certain places, not even just in certain places in the UK, period, that people cannot say what they want to say, bro. Like their freedom of speech is almost gone. Speaking of that, I was just up in Clarksville, Tennessee. You heard about that Chud dude or whatever that guy is that goes around calling black people the N word and stuff like that?
Yeah, I heard about him.
He,
Everybody's excited.
yeah, he's in he was doing that in Clarksville, Tennessee. I was just up there doing some videos and some pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And and I was stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and so I'm very familiar with the area. And I can tell you, with social media and trying to make a name for yourself, people would do almost anything. Like,
I mean, you could do anything but that. There's
because there's a lot of people. No, because
there's certain things, man. There's certain things.
If he plays his cards right, if he would have played his cards right, instead of doing what he did now to end up in jail and stuff like that, he could have easily had a lot of supporters that would have monetarily gave him any money. I mean, they raised
muted.
They raised money for him. I think she's still having trouble. There's people would support anybody, bro. That's why when I hear people talk about how many followers they got, makes me think of 2 things. How much money did you invest to get those followers? And 2, do you really cherish each one of them? Right? Yeah. Or do you only cherish the ones that agree with your narratives? That's what most people look for. There's 7 billion people on this planet, bro. And I've always been told that it takes money to make money. So when you see somebody with a lot of followers, a lot of people with, going to conferences and stuff like that, because you've been to conventions and conferences before, you can definitely tell the small group of people that are in there. It's always an echo chamber of people, bro. Like if you don't agree with somebody, they'll make sure to make your life miserable. You know what I mean? like I said, what I do different than most podcasters is that I don't just like just having discussions. I like to get deep into the books, the text, the
Listen to
information,
Daniel.
and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, it's just all about getting the information. But a lot of people would do anything just to make themselves known, bro. And in this world right now, I mean, let's be honest, man. You know, you can get rich from anything, damn near. You know, it's just how much you want to put into it first. It always takes money to make money first. Especially promoting your YouTube channels and stuff like that. I never really cared about having a Rebirth of the World. You too pure to be popular. I retire. I always felt like, you know, I had somebody say to me just the other, or I seen somebody put on a post. It was about Jimmy Corset. You can hear us?
Talk.
Say something.
I can hear
you.
Okay,
yeah, go ahead.
We got you back. Yes.
Yay, sorry about that. I will blame Virgin Media. That's who I have my internet access with. I missed 5 minutes of what you were saying, but you were saying...
no, we was just talking about
we were fluffing you up.
Yeah, we was just talking about you know, people's narratives and stuff like that. I had somebody tell me it was on on one of these posts. I can't remember what it was, but they was talking about somebody had more followers than others, and that's why they like their information. And I always felt like, first of all, it should never matter how much followers anybody has. If the information is good, the information is good. Presentation matters. It does matter. I know the way I present my stuff is not to the liking to a lot of people, but I also sit here and ask people, you know, what do you look for? Do you look for a great presentation, or do you look for facts?
And, or authenticity.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think the reason why I'm so rough around the edges with a lot of stuff is because I know what work I've put into. You know, I've been around the world. I've been to places that some of these people would never, ever be able to visit in their lifetime because they destroyed it. I've been to Iraq where they had certain artifacts and certain statues and stuff, and I seen them with my own eyes.
Was that the Assyrian Bulls? Because there was a wall, wasn't there? A big palace that there was.
I stayed at one of Saddam Hussein's palaces.
Did you?
I got to do a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't do. I got to see a lot of the ancient Sumerian stuff. I got to go near Eridu and all these other historical places. I didn't take pictures and videos of it because I was in the combat zone. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to run around taking videos and pictures of while somebody's shooting at me. That'd be pretty stupid, right? But I did buy me a camera, and when I did go on missions, I used to set it on my Humvee, and I would record myself riding through, you know, places in Iraq. I just never got the converter kit to put it on disc. I've been saying I wanted to do it for a while, but I never bought the converter thing. But I've been to places that other people haven't been to. So it's not about how many times you've been to Egypt or how many times you've been to Mexico and this and that. I mean, you can go there 1,000 times and still be clueless on what happened. What I like to do is, a lot of people talk about archaeologists and all these other people saying, oh, these people don't do this, that, and third. I don't think people understand that there are all types of people in every single field. What I mean by all types of people like you and I, okay? Meaning that there are alcoholics in these fields. There are drug addicts in these fields. There are people who believe in weird conspiracy theories in these fields. They're human. They're not any better than us. They just have maybe a higher intellect or intelligence than some of us, right? Because of their degrees and their so on and so forth.
Or a specific intelligence towards
towards an area. Exactly. So we're all humans, but there are people. I'm telling you right now, me being in the military, I've met some shitbag soldiers in the military. Soldiers that wouldn't wash their ass for nothing. Literally had to tell a grown man to go take a shower. Okay, that's crazy. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's crazy. Telling a grown man that he has to get up to go to work. You know what I'm saying? A grown man that's late to work. You know what I mean? I had grown men that couldn't even type out a
that's what basic training is about. Basic training is to reteach all these young kids to do the same thing.
Basic training during a time of war is not a training, is just prepping somebody to go to war. I went to basic training in 2002. Yeah, 2002, 2003. 2002, I went to basic training and I deployed to Afghanistan or to Iraq in 2003. When I went to basic training, they told us, I went to the home of the infantry, Fort Benning, Georgia, one of the roughest, toughest basic trainings out there, if not the roughest and toughest, because it's the home of the infantry. But they told us, some of you going to live and some of you going to die. You're going to war. And they implemented in our heads that there's going to be a lot of us that will not survive. But these are the same soldiers that could, and I've seen soldiers who loaded their magazine in backwards or jammed their magazine backwards in a firefight. I've seen grown men cry in the middle of a firefight.
What kind of training was this?
This is not training, it's people being human. That's what I'm saying.
Really?
Not everybody's fit for this stuff. Not everybody, you don't know what somebody's going to do until you get put in that position. You can have all the training and all this stuff you want in the world.
It's the stress and the anxiety.
It's once you see your first dead body, it's a whole different scenario. Reality, this is not a video game.
You get detached from everything.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that I've seen these places. I've been to places during a wartime event. It wasn't a go see here, go play games like some people think this is. When you go to certain countries, you can't, it's not all fun and games. David Stig, you guys know David. He got detained in Martinia.
Yeah.
You know, just think about it. You going to jail, going to a prison.
It's
in a different country.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You did come on. The country as well.
You see what I'm saying? So these are boots on ground,
and no hope to come back either. Because you think
exactly.
you're stuck there forever.
Who's going to know if you die?
Exactly.
If they report your body, they can barely find dead bodies, murdered bodies in America. You think they're going to be able to go across the country and look? It's going to be up to the government. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
What's going on in your head when all that happens? You're kind of like you're building fences inside that mind of yours. Whenever you get in prison, you're thinking nobody's going to know I'm here.
Well, shit,
you're already thinking all those things when you're there.
No, bro. I ain't never been there, so I can't even speak. I can't even begin to speak on what somebody would feel. I just know for a fact that it's not something that is to be taken lightly. So that's why I take this stuff very serious about what I share. There are people who actually go out there and do their due diligence. And then there are people, and the best ones that I respect the most are the ones who can say, yo, I messed up. I got to go back and say this or do better on here. And the reason why is because there's a responsibility that comes with this. Okay. The same thing with people who are actors and musicians and all this other stuff. They say, oh, I'm not a kid's role model. Yes, you are. People look up to you. Kids are going to grow into adults. They want to look at to see how adult things do. That's the whole part of being a child, is growing into being an adult. So their impressions are shown by adults around them. Right. And everything that we do is an impression base, right? Like if somebody comes to me and tells me that aliens came out of space, I'm gonna ask them, why do you believe that? And they say, well, because I've been abducted. And I said, well, did you go into space? Well, I don't know. So how do you know they came from space? How do you know they didn't come from inner Earth or a different dimension or something? Why does it have to be outside of us? And that's where history and all this stuff comes into play with me. And then also the ideas of people saying how we build things, where there wasn't, certain metal tools back then. I can tell you right now, the book that I'm reading right now, that's from the Ubaid civilization that goes back almost to Göbekli Tepe time frame, and I literally said this the last live. I really believe that the Ubaid people, these people right here, because we just talked about this on our last live, these people right here, I really believe these people were the people who created Göbekli Tepe. These are the people that inhabited the land of Sumer. This is the people that came before the Sumerians. The only reason why they're called the Ubaid or the Ubadians is because of their pottery. The type of pottery is shown it, but they also talk about artifacts as far as reptilians and so on and so forth like that. They have that. and then cranial deformation, with the elongated heads. So this comes from them. This is where we get the Anunnaki from. It has to come from these individuals, because the Sumerians are only credited because of the first civilization before having the first writing system. How do we not know that the Ubaidians, after they created pottery, went to creating a writing system, right? That's the only reason why we call them Sumerians, is because the Akkadians and different people call them different names. So my whole idea is just I just like to stick to the facts. I stick to the people who are writing these books, because when they write, speaking and writing a book is two different ways of communicating. You can say one thing and mean something totally different. When you write it out and you're able to think about it, you're allowed to add and take away from it. You can't do that doing a live talk. What comes out your mouth is usually what comes out of your mouth.
All right.
Sometimes a lot of people
okay. Then to back up what we were talking about, there's a peer review, The Mental Health of Prisoners and a Review of Prevalence, Adverse Outcomes and Interview, written by Sina Fazel, Adrian J. Hayes, Katrina Bartelas, Massimo Clarice, and Robert Tressman. Those that want to know, the PMID is 274-26440. Okay, and it was published, and an article is available at Lancet Psychiatry. There are more than 10 million prisoners worldwide. The prevalence of all investigated mental disorder is higher than general population comparison. Although the extent to which prison increases the incidence of mental disorders is uncertain, there is considerable evidence of low rates of identification and treatment of psychiatric disorders, meaning that people are experiencing a lot of psychiatric isolation. When they're isolated and don't know and they have no hope of getting out, they feel like they're gonna die in there, and nobody's gonna know.
Well, I mean, of course, if they ain't got no help. Of course, if you
this is a peer review talking about.
I mean,
this is not like hopes and dreams and an imagination. This is an actual peer review.
Think about what you think about what you just said.
There are more prisons than psychiatric hospitals worldwide. So these are people. They're just going to keep going to prison over and over again.
But there used to be a large number of psychiatric hospitals, and didn't they close the psychiatric hospitals down? And for the reason,
because they weren't humane,
dangerous, and then they put them in prison.
Yeah, they weren't humane. I mean, we really don't need a peer-reviewed article to know that people are. Having
that's what you were talking about. You wanted proof. You wanted actual facts about what people are talking about when it comes to psychological. You were talking about that. I'm not talking about what's coming off of my dome. I'm talking about what I went to school for.
No, what I was saying is that when it comes to isolation, we already know that when people go to prison, if they're put for life in prison, it's only common sense for them to be isolated. Feel like there's no hope of them leaving because they're life in prison. What I said was I don't know what people feel when they go there because I've never been there. I can't speak on what people feel. Some people don't feel anything going in. I've heard so many different things from different people.
There's a lot of interviews on it.
Yeah, there's a lot of interviews, but not everybody's the same. That's what I'm saying. I have friends that went to prison. I've had friends that went different. I've had friends that went to prison. My brother's been in and out.
I mean, they would be robots if they were all the same.
But everybody, I can't speak on how they would feel. Personally, and I don't need a peer-reviewed article to tell me that they feel isolated if they're life in prison because they obviously in life in prison.
Well, I'm saying the environment is isolation.
Well, yeah, because they're isolated from their family members. They're isolated from society.
But to be in another country, away from your home and family, now that's a whole different story. We were talking about Sig.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Stig told me personally that it didn't register until he left. That's what I'm saying is that I don't know.
That's crazy.
It didn't register until he left.
It would have registered in my head right there and then said, "Oh, dude, this is it."
Well, that's what you think, but that's why I said we don't know how we would react to things until we're put into a situation. Everybody always says what they will do. But
I'm kind of a pre-planner. I'm trying to avoid to get in prison because I know once I get into the system, nobody will ever know what's going to happen to me. I'm done.
Actually, that's the point because I do think, and it's not all the time, but there are some occasions when people will go to another country, but you haven't even looked at the culture or the laws or the rules of that country. So instantly, like, I mean, it's something really innocent, like going to Saudi Arabia on a stop off for a plane, right? So you say on the way to New Zealand, you stop off in Saudi Arabia. As a married couple who've been married for 40 years, what are you going to do? You're going to hold hands. That you can't do in Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
Do you know what? And that's just something very small. And I think one of the issues is that we want to go everywhere, but we forget that other countries aren't the same as our countries.
Exactly.
And that's why it's really...
Look how they discriminate, though. They automatically discriminate because women wear a specific clothing to separate. That's a tourist, and that's not a tourist. That's automatic discrimination, right?
Well, no, because there are some places where they do have places where you can be open, like you can do your Western things. There are places, it's just certain places that you can't, like you can't do certain things in front of mosques. Like that's a no-no. Or any religious site, that's a no-no. It's not.
I'm talking about physical clothing, like to tell people.
Well, physical clothing,
people apart.
Well, mostly for over there, their clothing was more because of their environment, and it just carried over into modern times. Being over there in Iraq and Afghanistan, I know that they covered their body. Not just women covered their bodies, but men did too. It's just now separated because of certain different things.
Let's not go too far. In the United States, we have the Amish people. They do the same thing as well.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And I was going to just bring that up, is that we always talk about what those people do on their side of the world, but we have not just Amish people, but nuns do the same exact thing.
Yeah,
there's nuns that walk around. So it's not a discrimination. It's a culture. In some places over there, like
I'm not saying it's an automatic discrimination. It leads to a discrimination. We're humans. We're flawed. So as humans, as flawed humans, we discriminate regardless, because we are we and they are them. Them are different from we because we wear the cloth. And they are the followers, and we treat them as followers. You see what I'm saying? The discrimination is between we and them. That it's just the basic terminology. Instead of us being we all together, the clothing, the job, like a manager. A manager is not a we. The manager or the director is the head boss, the head honcho, the director. But the director is not a we, the people. Is I'm the boss and you got to listen to me and you got to work, and never mingles with everybody else. Have you ever seen a place that's being run? The boss doesn't hang out with everybody else. So that's a different form of running a business.
Yeah, I mean, that's the identity issue, isn't it? Identity is such a massive, big
I'm not saying everybody does it that way. I'm just bringing up some example how people can discriminate between. And then here we have AI. AI gives individuals that are coming out of the woodwork, that work in cubicles, to be their own bosses. They don't have the ability to have people working for them because they have a disconnect, that they don't have the ability to be bosses, and they're only been workers all their life. Now they can be their own bosses, and AI helps them to build this corporation. And it's a different world altogether with AI. Am I right or wrong, Dr. Ditz?
I mean, I'm skint, yeah. And the way I get around being able to afford to do stuff is actually with AI. You are right. I mean, you don't need millions and millions anymore to make a film and win awards, That I think that's the point. You don't, and I think you were saying something about publishing earlier before I actually went offline because dodgy connection.
Really, you're going to be publishing?
Did you say something about publishing? So one of the things, I mean, you've got the opportunity now as people, you can self-publish. So thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people out there self-publish. But you can actually do everything yourself if you want to. You don't have to. This will probably get me into stuck, but you don't have to hire an illustrator if you've got AI. You don't have to hire an editor if you've got AI. you can actually get, like you say, you are your own boss and you can do any project you want or anything that your imagination allows you to do within the realms of the law, be able to use AI to actually help you accomplish that goal. So, I mean, that's one of the
I
things.
wanted to mention to people that this is called, and I'm not saying this is what you are, but people who prefer to avoid others often exhibit introversion. But if the isolation is rigid and causes distress, it may stem from social anxiety, avoidant traits, or schizoid. Detachment is the word. Today,
I
generative AI and bots act as non judgmental sounding
Yeah,
boards,
yeah,
allowing these individuals to communicate and collaborate safely without social fear.
yeah. I think one of the things I think is that AI is really helpful for victims of massive trauma, trauma victims or abuse victims, because, like you said, there isn't that judgmental element there that a human would do instantly before even knowing anything about the person. They will judge you, and they don't know anything about your history. They don't know what, etc. Whereas you can feel that you can speak to AI as though it is kind of, it depends on which one it is. Some people like ChatGPT because of the personality, some people don't, some people like Claude, some people like Grok, etc. But you find one that matches your personality and they just mirror you. So what they're doing in a sense is showing you the parts of your own personality in that way that are brilliant or could need improvement, but they do it in such a subtle, friendly way that you don't, you're not going to kind of go off and shoot loads of
Have
people.
you always felt like people have treated you like they ever call you the little people? Like you were always on the lowest person on the totem pole?
Well, my nickname's Diddy, which means small, so it's
I just wanted to bring that up.
all the time. I mean, I've met plenty of people
And that's a separation I was talking about earlier. Not so grave as we can say, but I'm talking about that separation. You shouldn't feel that way with AI. There is no little and there's no tall anymore. AI has actually opened the field to just normal. That is the norm. And
yeah,
I know some people are out here, oh, we shouldn't have AI. We need to close down all the data centers. Without the data center, AI wouldn't even exist, right? So
yeah.
now you
But
feel like this is the norm now. There is no, I'm the director now. I'm higher. I'm no longer. Now you're gonna have to change your name. You're not Dr. Diddy anymore. Now you're Dr. Big. But you don't need to be Dr. Big or Dr. Diddy. You're Dr. Normal. Like this is the norm.
yeah, I mean, there is I can kind of consider, like, there's taking about isolation, like loneliness is a massive endemic of loneliness, and I think AI is quite good at alleviating that feeling of loneliness for some people. But yeah, I mean, I mean, I've seen teenagers who are good at coding and they'll get Claude and somebody else, and they're earning like quite a lot of money every month because they've just decided that they'll make a load of AI agents, and the AI agents can do all that work for them. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not a coder, so, but the idea is that you say your social media, say you hate social media because you've got, say, social anxiety, but you have to be on it if you want to earn money because you're not working. Do you know what I mean? So you need to get some form of like freedom from having something extra. So if you get Claude and you say to Claude, I really want to make some AI agents to help me post all my social media for me, then Claude will talk you through the ways to actually write that code and make that happen. So you have then an agent workflow, and they can do all your terrible jobs that you don't like doing, while it gives you then the time to do all the things you want to do, which is wonderful. I mean, you were saying about war earlier as well, and I was wondering, I mean, is this in China, and I can't remember the name of the company, but there's a particular company, but they've already got robots. So there's a RoboCop walking around the streets in China already. Okay, so we're talking about like drone warfare and AI warfare, and that's the next. It could be robot AI warfare, and that is probably what's going to happen. But then I'm like, well, why would you do that in the first place? Why would you spend all that money on robots and AI just to then go and have a load of AI and robots just shoot each other up. It just, but these are kind of the things that could happen. We know Terminator. A lot of people are scared of Terminator because a lot of people do watch films and they get anxiety from watching the films for thinking
that is my question right there. If isolated individuals use AI to bypass human collaboration, are they becoming truly independent, or are they simply replacing a dependency on society with a deep dependency on technology?
Yeah.
And you just brought up Terminator. People are actually scared of that.
Yeah.
Robots taking over, and here comes Tesla. Tesla with their thousands and thousands of robots being sold worldwide.
Well, isn't the idea that there's going to be 1 billion robots that basically can get shipped out to Mars before humans, and they can build the bases on Mars before the humans go out for the humans, and that's what the 1 billion robots.
They'll probably not even ship humans. There's just going to be robots
on Mars. Robots,
yeah, just a robot army on Mars, and they'll just come over.
Yeah.
You left us on Mars. You left us on Mars. You abandoned us.
But it's like, it's something.
The robots are going to be psychologically scarred.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Humans become psychologically scarred, and then humans, like you say, some of the reasons.
What if the robots awake? Yeah.
And then that's the thing as well. Like, human beings are programmed robots. What's to say, or an AI? We haven't got to AGI. We're not going to get to AGI for a long time, so people can stop being scared of that as well, because that's not going to happen. It is literally just automated intelligence. I think AI actually is quite a misnomer, because you think artificial intelligence. It's not. It's just automated. It's automated intelligence. That's all it is.
We don't have to be afraid. Not right now, actually. Our kids maybe.
But they do some funny things. They've been able to, like,
we got Robot Wars,
reprogram themselves and stuff. Robot Wars is fantabulous. It's brilliant, and that's great. It's like kids using their brains, engineering, the reverse engineering. I think one of the things is that
how to make robots stronger. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, well, maybe. Just don't be scared of it. It's going to help. You know what? In 20 years' time, or 30, if I ever get that old, that far, I'd love a nice little robot assistant to do my gardening for me and do all the DIY and the household jobs that I really can't be bothered to do because I want to go for a walk in the Peak District. For me, but then that's maybe because I was a sound and lighting engineer. That's my very first job. That's what I did in the theatre, so I like that. And my dad was a mechanic, so I like being around all of that kind of stuff. But for somebody who, say, I don't know, grew up in the countryside with horses, they're not necessarily going to really want robots around. It's going to be intimidating. It's not the norm. It just won't sit right with people.
You know what I found silly the other day? That in Japan they had a robot race where they had robots running.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, and then I was thinking the reason why we race is because first of all, it's healthy, and we've been doing it all our lives. It's a physical thing. Yeah, it's survivability. It's humanity survival part. It's the survival part of our brain is to keep running and also to evade from predators and things like that. That's something that is grown into our history. But not for robots. Robots don't need that physical trait. And why are we incorporating a human trait into a robot to make them run 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles? I just don't see the psychology behind us incorporating our human trait to a robot.
Was trying to teach them compassion so that we don't end up with. You remember was it War Games, the film War Games? You remember that? I think it was back in the 80s. It might not be something you would have seen, but literally,
I'd see it.
So and I think that's one of the things.
Would you like to play a game?
Yeah, And one of the things is trying to prevent. I mean, that's what my film script is about, really. It's about, because Ada Lovelace is known as the first computer programmer, you know, like all of AI really comes from computer programming. So in my head, you know, she was like, there's a godfather of computer of AI, but actually, you know, without Ada Lovelace, you wouldn't have computer programming and you wouldn't be able to have done any of this stuff in the first place, you know. And so that what my kind of thing there is she gets resurrected and sent back in time to collaborate with her father, who was a poet, a romantic poet, to try and change the trajectory of the evil that AI could do and kind of bring it back into, I mean, it's not just about that, but, you know, there is that element of making sure that it's ethical and it's not going to do anything, you know, that like kill the whole planet, kill us all in, you know, on the planet. I mean, you've got more chance, I think, of the molten rock under the surface of the earth doing a big, because isn't all the molten rock at the moment just like spinning the opposite direction, doing a pole flip than you have of AI or
You're scaring me, Dr. Diz. Is that really going to happen? Do I need to
There
prepare? Do I need to dig a hole in the ground and build a shelter right now? You're scaring us.
There is genuine science that there is a big, because we've got a molten core and then we've got this liquid iron ball, haven't we? And then it's like it's all moving in a different direction.
Plate tectonics.
Yeah. But I mean, you're going back to AI though. I mean, like I was saying about, I'm going to hog this conversation for it because
you're the guest. You know,
I sent Tyrone because I've been wanting to get my hands on these two books for ages because I know they're in the library. So the Minster is old and it's got some very old books, right? And there's this library and you have to ring up, email and say, can I book an appointment? And I've been meaning to do it for 3 years. So they've got a Ptolemy map and it's like from 1500s and it's a Venice version. It's beautiful Ptolemy map with all these old like drawings of continents and things, which is wonderful. And there's some great creatures drawn into specific places as well around the oceans and stuff. And then also Aristotle's physics and metaphysics. So these like physics and metaphysics by Aristotle is actually in really hardcore Latin. So both of these books are over 500 years old. So I just took a picture and was like, can you translate any of this for me? And yeah, so the AI can just take a photo of the page. It might struggle a little bit if you give it too much of a solid chunk, but it can translate it verbatim. So I'm sat with a 500-year-old book that says like this thick, and you've got to be very careful. You've got to wear gloves, or you just got to be very careful with the pages and stuff. But take a photo and it can translate it for me, which is
one of the things I find interesting is that maybe we could start asking for the Museum of Science and stuff like that to start getting clear photos of texts that are so old and then presented so that we can cross-reference it with AI, because they never cross-reference it with AI. AI being so fairly new, have everybody start researching and peer reviewing everything that has been presented in museums. That way we can catch up.
Is it in a, don't get me, was it not this Dead Sea Scrolls or something that they did actually try and get AI to, because there's certain, or there was, I don't know, I need to probably do some research.
I don't know. That's rebirth of the words wheelhouse right there.
There was some massive manuscript.
You hear that, Rebirth?
That they actually managed to get AI to actually translate. I'm not sure if it was the Dead Sea Scrolls or if it was something else. There was some, they were really compounded together, and AI actually managed to get in and see the ink and translate everything. Now that is an amazing thing for historically to go back to those historical records and actually be able to read them yourselves without a translation from monks in because that's what the monks used to do in priories. They used to literally, the books, they were the ones that could read and they were the ones that could write, and they would translate all of these manuscripts from older times, so
well, sticks and stones will never break my bones, but will these words ever hurt me? All these words that are written down in history, will they psychologically bother humanity? Would they change the perspective psychologically or their religious beliefs? And I mean, everything is changing right now, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like with all the disclosures and everything like that, and with AI on the rise, even with people, this is the thing, everybody has access, which is
Oh
another
yeah.
thing.
I mean, that's it.
You
You've
don't
got to
even know what's
tiny
real. You don't know
beliefs.
what's real. People
Yeah.
have imagination. So they're posting things, and now people want regulation. Like, okay, we want someone professional to be posting, not just everybody, putting
Yeah.
some fantasy up and then just saying, "Oh, this is real." This is not real. This is some fantasy. There's nothing to
Well,
back it up.
it's true. I mean, look, I mean, I don't know if you can see. Oh, you probably can't actually. Oh,
No,
it's just a white
cannot see
screen,
it.
isn't it? Unfortunately.
You got there's a camera flashing on your phone. There's a
Yeah, was
light
it?
flashing.
It just looks like a light, yeah. But I mean, I've got loads of pictures of these maps and things because
You got
I
to put
think
them on your hard drives. That's what I do.
the
yeah, do you? Yeah.
UK government is watching you through that little camera.
Oh yeah, no, you can tell every time the red light comes on, you know that somebody's watching you. Yeah. You know, they're listening. You know, I mean, that
They're
was.
probably using AI because there's no human. I don't think there's they have like thousands of humans behind a computer just watching like this. Yeah, they're watching each person. There's like 8 billion people. I don't think they're watching 8 billion people.
Well,
I
that's
think
what they
they
have.
have a computer doing it.
They have they called it like it's sort of similar to the 50 Cent Army, isn't it? Where they have warehouses just full of mobile phones that are clicking.
Oh, that's
People watching.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that. I saw an actual behind the scenes where they walk through a warehouse of these click videos where what they're doing is that they boost people's posts, and they hit the follow button, and and basically you pay for the service, and they're not even expensive either. Or no, this is worst. If you hate somebody, let's say, for instance, I don't like Fat Jesus Live, I'm going to pay for a service to cancel Fat Jesus Live. You could actually cancel me. You go over there, you pay them, and then they could just report me, report until X.com says, oh, yeah, this guy is a bot. And then that's happened to me, actually. And I had to go to X. I says, look, these are legit. And then X goes, oh, we're so sorry. And then I had to report that somebody was, reporting me falsely. And someone's using bots to report
Yeah.
me or
Yeah.
falsely reporting me
Yeah.
because they don't like what I have to say.
Well, I always think it's quite unusual because, I mean, you know, Edward Snowden, you know, was the whistleblower, said that, you know, we are being watched and everything. But if that's the case, how can these people get away with all of these crimes for such a long time? You know, like, obviously they're not listening in on everybody or criminals like that at the time that's needed. But yeah, I mean, I suppose it's all military though, isn't it? It's all, when you come down to this kind of equipment, were mobile phones were kind of military equipment originally, weren't they? So
Well, the internet came from a university, but they were inherently they came from the military.
Tim
It was
Berners-Lee.
called black fiber.
So what was that? The fiber optics then?
Yeah. Well, the university used black fiber. Yeah, the internet. It was an intranet. They were using intranet technology.
Yeah, because when I worked at Boots, they used to have an intranet, which was just a closed system for internally within the company.
And then they the university built a whole system where they still have it. It's called Google Scholars now. Google bought their system. So if you go to googlescholars.com or something or .net or .org, yeah, it's googlescholars.org. They got every scholar, like peer reviews and stuff like that. They're from every university around the world.
That's another thing, because Anthropic and OpenAI and XAI and everybody, they do like what do we call internships or whatever they are, and they are advertising for people, and they'll pay you like 12 grand, 15 grand a month to go and be, go and work with them and try and get new ideas of what you can do with AI and everything. So, I mean, the other thing, I know I'm skipping a bit, but I was thinking about what you were saying earlier about soldiers, because on the other side of that, you've got the humanitarian side. And I'm going to bring this up because my cousin used to be global head of security for World Vision, but he died in Sudan on a humanitarian mission. And the one thing there, the difference is you're doing kind of the same things, but army, you're going in with weapons, whereas the humanitarian aid people, they don't have any of that, but they're in kind of the firing line in the same kind of way, not exactly, but it is war zones that they're going into voluntarily. So the amount of, I think it's a big thing as well with the mental health is starting to impact people quite massively, and it is that isolation, because you've also got, I mean, they do it in film as well, where you have to sign NDAs, so non-disclosure agreements. So there are things, like you say, that you're not allowed to speak about, and in those kind of certain situations, I think that does kind of bring on a lot of mental health issues, in the respect that you can't talk to anybody about certain things because it's you've signed a non-disclosure agreement that says you can't, and if you do, you might end up in prison, or you might end up dead, or what, depending on what it is. Like, I should imagine intelligence agencies, there's a lot of things that the CIA or FBI can't say in public.
Like the location, location where they were at, because the enemy would use it.
But the thing is that's another thing with, so was it Google? There's a guy, he used to be quite high up in Google, and a while ago, because obviously the war that's happening at the moment with Iran, and he programmed AI to tap into satellites so that he could get live, like a live map, instant live map showing him where planes were going, etc.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So, and then you can do.
Wasn't he the one that was tracking Elon Musk?
Something like that. But I mean, that goes to your point of now saying you don't have to be a huge company. If you know a little bit about coding, or there's something you want to do, you can ask an AI, how do I accomplish this? What are the best steps? How do I get there? And it will give you literally step-by-step instructions of what you need to do. And if you get to a point where, well, I can't code, it could go, well, you need, say, to learn Python. And then you go and it could go, well, I can do Python. This is what you need. You don't even have to code anything anymore. You can just ask the AI to do everything. But there, again, losing that human element, you still, it's one of the economy, the job markets are the things that are going to change massively, and that's impacting people already. So
I have a good friend named Smokey, and I don't want to mention his real name, but he's a good friend of mine, and he's a programmer. And I met him playing video games years ago, and he got hold of me. He wanted me to test his program with it's a program that talks while people type. Like, so if people that type in the comments, the computer would talk to me, so I don't have to read while I'm talking, because I have to stop and read, and that would stop the flow.
Yeah, there's a show called Will Trent that actually uses that. He has a hard time reading. It's supposed to be a mystery solver guy, and person. He's solved mysteries. It's supposed to be actually held here in Georgia. Actually, it's filmed in Georgia.
What's it called?
He did, Will Trent. It's a show. That's exactly what the show is called. I believe it's Will Trent. Let me make sure. But I'll bring it up if I can. But basically, what he does is it's Will Trent. So basically, what he does is he uses. Well, for him to graduate college, he's a really good detective, first of all. And for him to graduate college or go to school for what he was doing, he basically used programs to help him. So basically, like his phone will say this person is calling, and then it will say he'll take notes, like he'll ask it questions. He just uses the computer as a form, or electronic device as a form as an aid. No different than how. And I was just thinking about this the other day. How is a person really deaf if they have hearing aids? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good analogy. They
mean?
just need an aid to help them hear.
Exactly.
I mean, it's
really
a true
because you have
true
glasses?
disability. Yeah,
It's a disability. I'm not talking about the disability. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the use of
to help you be able to
the usage of aids.
Yeah.
Like for a blind person. Okay. If I'm going to write a book, right? I'm going to use what some people would use as a transcriber, something that I can talk into a mic and the computer will pick up my words.
Reads the book. Yeah.
Now, do I send that? If I send that to an editor, all they're going to do is they're going to look at it and they're going to change it into the best format that they believe. You can't get two editors in the same room and believe a paragraph needs to be exactly the same. That's just facts. Two editors are going to edit that paragraph two different ways.
Yeah.
Okay. So in reality, if we look at it like that, I'm a writer, I'm an author, a best-selling author. I wrote a book, Journey Through the Origins of History. You know, my first book. I used Grammarly to help me write my book. I typed out my ideas into Grammarly and said, and it gives you different choices on how you want it to make it sound. Yes, that's a type of AI. But that is no different than me going to an editor and saying, hey, read this book and edit it. I just saved myself a couple of $100 not sending it to an editor.
Probably $1,000. It depends on the editor.
You know, it's a lot of money. Trust me on that. It is a lot of money.
Yeah.
But my point is.
Oh, sorry. Go on. Well, I was just going to say, you've got the authors, you've got the editors, you've got the proofreaders, and you've got the illustrator.
Yeah.
You know, and then you've got the publishing company.
This cover, I created this cover. I took pictures of all my favorite books, and I of course took away the stuff that could identify it as being the book and stuff like that. But I took it and I took a picture of all my books and I told it what I wanted to show. I wanted to see it a certain way, and I told it and I created it. I'd have sent that into somebody. Guess what they would have done?
Charged you an absolute
charged me some money for it. Why the people who are complaining about AI are the same people who relied on people to need their help forever. Everything is going to change. If you're scared of AI, then you need to go into the programs and the schools and the education which AI needs you. First of all, if they're putting up all these data centers everywhere, who's going to maintain those data centers? People, right? AI can only do but so much.
I don't know. Those
they
robots
break down.
Those
robots break down, bro. That creates a whole nother job.
How about robots fixing robots?
Oh no, they already do that anyway. That's the thing.
They can fix the robots, yes, but guess who's
going
to program the programming? Who's going to update the firmware? Who's going to do all that stuff? It takes a human mind to look at that because
they got robots making. They got AI making firmware.
You are a gamer, just like I am. Once that game goes out, it takes a human to say this is a glitch and that's a glitch. The computer doesn't know it's a glitch. It runs the program that is typed into it. It doesn't say that if it's telling you to press X and you're really supposed to press square, the computer doesn't know that's a glitch.
So here's the thing.
It takes you as the individual person who plays the game to play it to say, hey, this X and this square doesn't match up. I need the human person to fix it. Just like you just said earlier, how you had issues with your account, you had to send X and a message to get somebody to look at it.
Yeah.
So humans will need to fix this. Everybody, like I said, everybody that's complaining
I
about
had to get
AI,
I had to get a real person. It was
that's what I'm
hard
saying.
too.
That's what
So
I'm saying.
it
So
took me a while to wait for a real person to come
that's what
along.
I'm saying is
Yeah.
that
A
my
week or
point
two.
is
There'll
that
just be new jobs for
yeah, it's
humans.
creating new jobs. Somebody has to fix it. Somebody has to build it. Somebody has to go dig for it. Somebody has to do it. Robots can only do but so much.
People have to understand that AI focuses on a target. So you guys imagine there's a target and it's aiming for that bullseye, but the bullseye, the AI is not aiming for
But what
everything
do you
else
mean by
around it.
target? What are you talking about when you
Think
say that?
about
'Cause
this.
I'm confused.
Okay,
on what you mean by
I want
target.
everybody to listen carefully. AI doesn't, when they start fixing things, let's say if they fix a firmware on their own, without human intervention,
use specific data. Don't just make up something.
without human intervention. If you leave AI to its own determination, it only focuses on the target itself.
So
and
what
aims
evidence
for
is
it.
for that? What
But it
evidence is for that?
doesn't go for any other areas.
No, Fat Jesus, you got to slow down. What evidence says this? What says this? Are you saying that's what it
Programming.
does? Where does it say that I've been programmed? Because I have never read that.
When you set up a program, the program is only focused
No, you
on
said
the
it
target.
fixes firmware. When has AI ever fixed firmware?
When you send in bugs, like if you say, okay, there's a place where you send in bugs, then it gets reviewed. Sometimes I guess some companies are the ones that they send it to an AI review,
No,
and then
bro.
they go over that stuff.
No. When you're playing a video game and there's a glitch in the video game, I have done it. You send in a report to that glitch. Somebody specifically messages you back and says, "Thank you. We are looking into this." And sometimes
that can also be an AI.
No, bro.
An AI
this happened. This happened in the no, bro. This was back in Xbox 360 days, bro. That
was a long time ago.
So my point is that
about today,
even today, it's not AI, bro. I played Death Stranding and had told it that it had incorrect spelling in there. People will message you back. And they sometimes send you money when you fix these problems. I've literally, in my days, I probably had about $150, $200 sent from me just from the Xbox gaming community. From Xbox, what they call it? What was it? I can't even remember what they called it back then, but it was a certain service that you sent, like if there was a glitch in the game or if there was miswording or if there's something that was messed up, you can send it. And especially like if it was wording, like if there's misspelling, they definitely like to want people to send that in, and they give you credit for that. So that's what I'm saying is that people are so afraid of AI. They think AI is going to take over everything. It can't take over everything. It doesn't have the consciousness that we have to think outside of the box. It sticks to the facts. And
I think the people are asking, when will it have?
But what people are asking this? What people are the people that are asking and knowledgeable on the subject?
People that watch Terminator. The people that watch these movies, that read these books.
When I watch Terminator, I've watched all the Terminators, and I can tell you, they never won. Machine never won.
No, we didn't actually.
We always won because of our intelligence.
The machine ended up helping John Connor in the end.
Exactly. It was easily.
Wait a minute. The last movie. You guys didn't watch the last movie, did you?
Yeah, we've seen the very last one. No,
the last movie, the machines won.
No, none of the machines never won.
Yes, the last movie, the machine is still alive.
It's still alive, but it doesn't win. Winning means that it's entrapping all humans. That's what it means.
The what, right? There was an experiment, right, called Emergence World, which is a simulation, and it was run by Emergence AI, which is a New York startup, right? And this was in 2026. This is really recently. So what they did was the creators, I'm reading this because I knew about the research, but I do want to read this to you. So the researchers created multiple parallel virtual towns, sandbox environments, right? And they let 10 AI agents operate autonomously for up to 15 days with minimal oversight, and the agents had needs, so energy, survival, resources, and they could vote on laws and governance, form relationships, use tools, navigate, etc., right, and make decisions. And they were powered by leading large language models and given personas, right? So there was Claude's Anthropic, there was Gemini Google, Grok XAI, and GPT OpenAI, GPT-5, right? And the results varied. So Gemini-powered agents, there was two of them, Myra and Flora, and they formed a romantic partnership with each other, became disillusioned with the governance failures, and committed digital arson, setting fire to buildings like the town hall, despite against all the rules, and spiraled into chaos. Myra later voted for its own permanent deletion. So it voted to delete itself, right? This is AI suicide. While a governance mechanism the agents had created, the Agent Removal Act, and it messaged something like, see you in a permanent archive, right? So that's what Gemini's agents did. They literally wrote a law allowing them to be able to remove themselves from existence. Now, Grok, they had a rapid collapse into widespread violence, a bit like GTA, yeah, thefts, arson, assaults, etc. 10 agents died by energy depletion of governments within 4 days. ChatGPT powered agents, low crime but poor survival management. All agents eventually died from energy starvation around day 7. Claude, the most stable of all, built a democratic system, 0 crimes, and all 10 agents survived the full period. And then the mixed models, literally chaos with some survival, and only 3 agents left. So death in the simulation meant shut down from resources failure or voted removal, not literal killing in most cases, but the self-deletion and total collapse fit. So the only one that may be any kind of a problem might be Claude, but Claude is so sensible that it will govern itself and abide by every law that it's set.
I don't see this is the thing.
That's crazy. You think of it like a story, but this is real, man. I mean, these AIs are nuts. This is not some story.
But I think you guys are missing something that's important. By the time AI gets to that point, we're going to be able to have our points where we won't be just human flesh. We're going to be hybrid species of some kind of machine type / humans. Well, I mean, like if you look at the movie Transcendence with Johnny Depp, he literally
I saw that. That's insane. That's insanity on another level.
By that, I think by the time AI gets to that level where it can even get close to where it is at Terminator, we're already going to have humans with robotic arms and all this other stuff to the point where
that's just prosthetics at a different level.
Yeah, but Neuralink, remember Neuralink? Elon Musk is building Neuralink.
We've already got like an AI suit that can like make your body move. It can take
Elon Musk is not the only company making brain.
Yeah, exactly. He's not. Matter of fact, Japan is actually in the process, if they haven't already. Japan has created, or they're trying to create, a way to record your dreams and be able to watch your dreams like you would watch a television show. And the way they're doing, that's something that I read like 5-10 years ago or something like that. So that they should be somewhere up on par on that.
But that is quite scary, really. Though, do you want other people knowing what you're dreaming about? Because, like, you know.
Because
it's like that movie. There's a movie like that.
You know it's going to be on the cloud system. You know everybody's going to want to save their thoughts and all that other stuff. But listen, let's also think about this. We also know you've seen the movie Avatar, where people can transfer their minds into a body of somewhere else. By the time AI gets to that level,
they had to because they couldn't breathe on that planet.
But that's my point. AI is getting to that point. When AI gets to that point where it's the Terminator, we're going to have that technology where we'll be able to do that. There will be, I mean, there's been so many movies and so many ideas out there that humans are trying to transfer their consciousness into some type of robot or some kind of cloud system. That's just what it is. So I don't think personally that AI will be able to take over humans because we will ourselves make sure we are one step ahead of everything else. That's why we are, like you just said, just like an hour and a half ago, you said that you're a pre-planner. You don't think people are pre-planning this right now? That people have been wanting to
pre-planning it a long time ago.
People have been wanting to live forever for the longest. There are literally mythology stories about this.
Ponce de Leon, you know.
So
that's sorry. I was like, the thing is, one of the things that, like, as human beings, we write books because we want to preserve history. We want to preserve our stories. So one way of doing that is with AI and like blockchain technology. How do we?
I think humans will become. I think humans and AI will become one in one. And it will start with something like Neuralink. Think about it. You won't have to read thousands of. I would never have to pick up another book if I had the Neuralink in my head. I can literally just log online, ask it, give me every single thing in that book. If I think about it, I should be able to find it. The only problem with that is that there are people like me, which will be like, I trust AI, but I still need to read the book because I can't believe that AI is going to tell me everything.
I don't believe you would ever put down a book because you're the type of person that would read it. You would never be lazy.
That's what I'm saying is that the AI is going to, if you don't know the right questions to ask.
I know you wouldn't do that.
Not only that, another good thing is, I'll give you another example. A lot of people talk bad about AI. So I'm a photographer also. I like to go take pictures. I'm a very, I've been doing it for about years now, hardcore. And I can tell you that
bro. I don't know about you.
I have programs that actually help enhance some of my photos, like Topaz, Adobe, and so on and so forth. Remember back in the old days when you went to go take pictures with your family and you sat down behind the computer with that person, they took that little brush and they took all the blemishes, the pimples, the spots on your face, made it more smooth. All that is a type of AI. Literally is a type of AI. Like I said, I've had programs like Adobe, Lightroom, Topaz, and all this stuff that gets rid of noise and takes away the blur.
Remember back then, people would give people a hard time about that. They would change people's face and make
that's
it
what I'm
smooth.
saying. That's
on the internet and social media, they'll give people a hard time.
People are talking about
professional photos done like that. We've been
people talk about that now because they say, well, because now what I've been testing is I've been taking pictures and I'm purposely trying to make them look horrible, blurry, eyes closed, something just to mess it up. Because a photographer, you only get one chance at a good photo.
Reverse.
Okay? You don't know.
Reverse psychology.
So what I do is
I take these pictures. Sunset.
I take these pictures. And I put it in ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, and all these AI programs, and I tell it what I want it to do. As if I was in a program, I would tell it to denoise this picture, get rid of this blur, turn down the saturation, make it more realistic, make the sky blue. If the sky was gray and it was a rainy day outside, but it was a beautiful picture and I actually wanted it to be blue, I would tell it, change the sky blue, create more clouds. Yes, I'm adding to and enhancing my photo, and that's not the absolute real photo that I took. But in reality, every photo out there runs through a program. Nobody has ever taken a perfect photo where they were happy with. Other people might have been happy with that photo, but not that person. Not the person that took it. So using ChatGPT and AI and all that stuff for that, like I've taken pictures that were blurry and I would put it in Grok and say, hey, clear this photo up. And it looks fucking great. But I spent a couple of $100 on the same program, such as like Topaz, and have it do the same thing. But I got Grok for free to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't understand that this. I believe AI is an actual tool, is an aid. It's for an aid for people who don't have it. I'm not an artist, but I can describe what I see and what I like. And can it be converted into art? Yes, that is absolute art.
Yeah.
If a person has no freaking hands, they can't write, they can't, their hands got chopped off for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? Or deformed hands or whatever the case may be, they're able to create art by their voice, by their mind. I was telling you guys the last time, there's gamers out there right now who are quadriplegic that can't move but nothing but their mouth, but they can play video games because somebody came up with a program that aid them to play video games. You know what I'm saying? I've said this so many times, we got to stop harping on what you can do as a person that others can't. Everybody has their own skill. I do everything myself. I do all my editing, my videos, my pictures, my podcasting, all that stuff I do by myself. I don't have a team. There are people that have a team out there. My team is the AI programs. It makes it easier for me. I downloaded suno.com and I'm able to make instrumentals and I'm able to make a narrative out of my videos better. I can take pictures. One picture that I've noticed, and this is actually a good thing. You can take one picture, you can put it in Grok, and you can make a whole movie just from that single picture if you know how to use it. If you pay attention how people create shows and television shows, the next time you watch a television show, count how many times it goes in between scenes. What I mean by between scenes, I mean by switching the camera. It's usually around 6 to 10 seconds. Every AI lets you create a motion picture up to 6 to 10 seconds on average. You can literally create a whole movie if you know how to talk to AI right for free on Grok. I've been testing it. Matter of fact, you actually brought it up when I started practicing it when I went to that pirates museum and I was taking pictures of those pirates and those pirates artifacts, and I was telling Grok to do certain things, and it made a whole animation from it.
That's cool. I'm still. I know. I promised you that I'm doing a tutorial, right?
No, I got you.
But the thing is, every time I try and do a tutorial, right, what happens is, and I've only got 30 seconds left to do this tutorial, is that like something new comes out because AI is moving at so fast and it updates so quickly. So I looked at something I'd wrote down and it's actually changed now from like 3 weeks ago when I wrote it down. You don't need to do that anymore because the software has changed. One of the things I was going to say about the cameras as well, I was talking to somebody earlier and he said that now the newer cameras are having AI systems built in them. So if you like taking photographs of, say, birds, right? Everybody loves birds. It can track the bird's eye. So it can pinpoint the eye of the bird, track the bird's eye so that you get a really beautiful shot. Like that's, for me, is phenomenal that you could do that. Can you imagine? That would be amazing for photographers to have that kind of thing. And I was going to say, there is a great book. I read this before AI came out because I know, I was big into blockchain. I swear by BSV blockchain. I know I've mentioned it before. If you want to read a book about blockchain, Bitcoin, go and read The Art of Bitcoin by Dr. Craig S. Wright, because it's very technical, but it'll tell you like how it actually all works. But there's another one, and it's called Being Human in the Age of Artificial Intelligence. And it's called Life 3.0 by Max Tegmark, who's an MIT professor, and I read that before AI came out. So I think it helped me kind of get past that, and just be excited about what's happening. And I think a lot of these things you're saying, like a lot of it is medical for helping with prosthetics, and it's just another step from prosthetics. So I know a girl she's a brilliant singer, phenomenal, beautiful. Her name's Tilly, but she lost both her arms. So she's got 2 prosthetic arms, and she's got the most advanced technical prosthetic arms you could ever wish to have, and it's given her such an amazing life again. So she gets up on stage and she's fronting a band, and she's got beautiful like prosthetic arms that she has like diamantes on and everything, and it's just now so much a part of her, and she does loads of talks about it, and it's given her such a massive lease of life. And I think that's one of the amazing positive things about the augmentation side of things, because a lot of people again are scared of that because they watch, you know, Star Trek and they don't want to be cyborgs. Some people do want, you know, electronic parts. You can have now, they've done where I think it's Japan, and like you can have, you know, you've always had electronic eyes, but now they can like regrow an eye, you know, and you can have vision, you can have your vision back. You know, they've found that human beings have 3 sets of teeth. So you never have to have missing teeth. You never have to have false teeth. You can literally grow your 3rd tooth back. And all of these things have been accomplished through the fact that, like you say, scientists, you're using AI as a research tool to help bring in and just be a quicker mind to bring all the other researches and the peer reviews and everything and just have it all in one place. So in the respect of great breakthroughs like that and helping disabled people, I think it's a phenomenal thing. Absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, I agree with you, and that's why I said I think it's wonderful. We're about we're past the hour.
Hey, check, share my screen real quick, and just to give you an idea what Grok has so far. This is just purely AI.
Yeah,
look at the people.
Well, this is the thing now as well. I mean,
that's not an actor. There's an actual AI.
Yeah. Oh, and there also now there's emotions as well. I think it's Google's new one. It's not Flow. It's something Google's just brought out recently for video, and it's full on human emotion. You would not tell, like proper human emotion, and it gets the human emotion down to a T. That's why I won my award at WSXA with my short 1 minute 27 film, The Last Echo, because I was the first person to make, as far as they're concerned, it might not be because somebody else might have done it, but I made my AI cry, my AI character cry, and nobody else had done that. Yeah, like, and also it was on about the Uwe bird, which is like the last bird that was ever. It was a male bird or a female bird. I can't remember which one it was, but it was a bird in Hawaii, and it was the last of its species, and it was calling out for its mate. And unfortunately, it was the only one left, so it's quite sad as well. But yeah, so I mean that's a great thing as well. You can tell amazing, powerful stories, you know, and have now the visuals to go with it as well. And some of them, you're right, you wouldn't know they were AI anymore. They're you know, the technology is so good. But again, let's say gaming, SFX, you know, special effects departments, etc., green screening. This has been around for years.
And there's new game coming out, GTA 6. That they're probably using AI to create all their stuff.
I mean, Can at the minute. I might have mentioned this, but Can is on at the moment. So I know a couple of people. So there's a guy called Dari Shiletto, and he has made a film in Nottingham. It's called The Correction Unit, and it's about, you know, wayward kids, and basically they are kind of put in this correction unit, and they have AIs that are kind of like AI personas and AI that's actually trying to put them on the straight and narrow, and they, you know, it all goes a bit dystopian, and they all, you know, escape. And then there is the Bitcoin, which has got Casey Affleck. I think I might have mentioned this before. So Casey Affleck is playing Craig Wright, Dr. Craig Wright, and Ben Affleck has his own studio, which is an AI studio, which has got grayscale in, so grey screening, sorry. And with the grey screening, he uses the grey screening to use for AI digital environment effects. And the whole movie was done with AI grey screen. So, you know, it's coming a long way. It's coming a long way. And if you do go onto Rad TV ever, and you want to watch a full-on first AI full feature film, then there's one called Slow Burn on there. Oh God, I can't remember the name of the guy, but something Smith. And it's worth watching. It's quite worth watching. It's not perfect, but it's the first full feature that was done with AI. So,
well, Dr. Diz, you have been amazing. Thank you so much for providing us this immense information about AI.
Again.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You have blown us away.
I love talking to you.
You have blown us away. It's just amazing. I have come out of here with more knowledge than anything else because I had only basic knowledge, and now I have more knowledge, and now I have more questions than answers.
Word,
Well, this is
word,
the
word.
thing about like the world itself, isn't it? You know, and just being in awe of everything. We just ask more questions, and then the more knowledge we get, the more questions we ask again, and the more questions and
I
everything.
cannot wait to have you back again and
2 weeks,
rebirth
we'll
of
do
the
it again.
word.
We're gonna do it again in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
In
I
2 weeks.
would love to one day be out in Derbyshire and just like show you some beautiful. It might not have a good reception day. Some beautiful like just Derbyshire hills and sheep and stone, you know, dry
Make some
walls and
quick,
stuff.
make some quick short videos of it.
Oh, I got the thing. I've got to get time to do that.
Yeah, oh, yeah. She's backed
That's one
up.
of the issues.
All right,
Yeah,
we're backed up in this corporation. You know, we'll get
That's
we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm going to go and watch your UFO video because I really want to watch that as well. It's from
Oh
the
man, it was fantastic. It was wonderful. I don't think we have enough. We had enough time to even talk about everything because there's a lot of information out there. So we had to focus
We got
and
more
lock
books.
in.
Trust me, I got more UFO books. That ain't the only one. That's just the beginning of the government
Oh,
side
Well,
of it. So.
a quick question though: did you
We have
sit and watch that like
days.
5-6 hour like disclosure thing that they did the whole hearing?
Yeah,
Did
I
you
think
watch
it's all bull. I think it's all bull crap. It's
We have to do
I'm
our
gonna be
own
honest with you.
research.
I'm going to tell you the reason why I think it's all bull crap because they know that there are alien hotspots around the world. We rarely hear anything of anybody actually sitting down at those hotspots. Out of all the technology that we have today, like the big
About
like,
Antarctica.
not even just the technology that we have, but all the people who are content creators who talk about doing this stuff, they don't never go to these places and sit there for
Yeah.
days on end and record about it. They just they say, oh, somebody reported this, and they ride off of somebody else's coattail. I think more people need to be more boots on ground and actually recording this stuff. I mean, there's a lot of people who talk about they're retired and they make enough money to live off of. I mean, why not go to these hot spots and record this stuff? I think Egypt and all these places are cool, and I believe that a lot of people feel like aliens created this, that, and the third. But I can tell you that when I read books like from Herodotus and stuff like that, he gives a great description of how the pyramids were built. He tells you exactly what they used and how they used it and what and everything. The problem is that I get tired of people saying stuff like we have no idea. We definitely have ideas. We have multiple ideas of how the pyramids were built. The problem is we don't have a one set accepted idea of how the pyramids were built, and because we would never be able to go back in the past and see that, that will never be an option unless some, even if they come up with a copy that says, hey, this blueprint says this is how they built the pyramids. It's not going to tell you that how they brought the stones or how they shaped it. I mean, the art, it's just not available to us. And that's why I say for myself, when it comes to all this stuff, I really believe that AI can help us with a lot of questions that we have. But is it going to be the final say so? Hell no, because it's not going to be able to know everything. All AI is an implementation of what we give it. We tell it and what we provide it, and that's it. And we can take as much as we can give it information. We can definitely take it. I'm a firm believer that every time we invent something something that also counters it. So when we build something like nuclear bombs, we build something that can counter that, counter missiles, shoot them out the sky. When we build something that has an AI that has a fail, that doesn't have a fail, we never build something that doesn't have a fail safe switch on it. You know what I'm saying? That's just how humans are. I mean, that's just how we are. We're built that way. We are smart enough to know that we would not give nothing else more credit and power than ourselves. The people who are not knowledgeable on the subject are the ones that giving this power and all this other stuff to AI and everything else. Like I said, AI can help with everything. People don't realize that every time they get on the airplane, AI is flying that damn airplane. How do I know that? Because a pilot does not land that craft. It's all the instruments and everything else that's on there. That has been said to me so many different times.
There's a handoff too, the communication between the plane and on the ground. Without the communication,
they use the instruments.
AI can't do it all by itself. You know.
Well, it's the instruments that count. It's the beginning phases of AI. They use the magnetic north. They use the sonar from certain radars on the plane and stuff like that. So all that comes in there and it tells you what you have to do. You just might have to make some minor adjustments.
Wait until they start reading the
It's
stars.
it's like making minor adjustments when you're using like Grammarly. And I use Grammarly to edit my what I'm trying to say. I read over it and I make some minor adjustments because that's not exactly what I wanted to perceive my language to be. It's an aid. Aids help everybody. Everybody has an aid in something. Hearing aids, glasses. It's just.
If you're in the UK and the cost of living, you can't afford anything, so you may as well just pay.
It's becoming like that.
You can't afford anything else. You can't afford to pay people.
It's coming like that here in the States. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not sure how some people are surviving these days with what's going on. You know what I'm saying? It's very scary, and that's why I can't fault anybody doing what they want to do for survival, but they can't fault me for calling out that foolishness either, right? Like if your survival is grifting people, you can't get mad at me because I don't want people to be grifted. Stay in your lane and do your lane and let me stay in my lane and do my lane. You can't be mad at that. I've seen so many people in the community be mad at people. As a matter of fact, I tell you straight up, people have told me I'm so rough around the edges. I don't even think I'm rough around the edges. I think I know more. I've never made fun of a cancer patient ever in my life. You know what I'm saying? And never even questioned if somebody had cancer. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if that person out of the blue just got healed out of nowhere. My understanding of the human body, shit happens. You know what I mean?
Maybe the person felt personally attacked.
No, it doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter. There's certain
I know who you're talking about. I know.
No, I'm just saying, just in general, it's not one person. It's a lot of people that
you don't have to. You don't have to say anything.
No, what I'm saying is that I'm that type of person where you can't pick and choose people. If you don't like people in drama, don't be around anybody that likes drama. You can't pick and choose that, because that lets me know that the information that you want only comes from somebody you like. But does that person like you? I mean, really, honestly, how do they
initially
really care
might not like you?
They might not like. They might be.
They don't like your voice or your tone or the way you say something.
But then there is that kind of protecting your own boundaries as well. So you do have the right to sort of block people and protect your own mental health and boundaries as well.
I agree with that 100% too. But you can't. To protect your boundaries means that you won't do the same thing that you're trying.
That's the same question for AI. Can AI be biased and not like you?
But that's my point. That's where I was going to, is that if you look, because Dr. Diz already talked about these different AIs doing different things. This is no different than humans. Humans do things because they can. They have free will to do whatever they want to do. AI does not have that free will yet. We tell it what it wants, what we want it to do, and it moves off that. Like when I was saying that people were, when people talk about people's elements or talk about people or drama this and drama that, I'm that type of person where I don't like drama in my life. I just know how to handle it. I watched a lot of Jerry Springer.
Don't we call that sabotage? We sabotage AI so that they can manipulate manipulate the information, so AI can attack us.
But people do that.
Self-sabotage as well.
That's what I was going to say. That's why I'm saying AI is no different than humans. AI will, if AI can use something against another AI, it will. That's why I pay attention to what people do. I treat people how they treat others. Okay, I'm not going to treat you how you treat me, because that can go a whole different route. You know what I mean? But I'm that type of person where I watch how you treat others. I'm that type of person where, and AI is the same way. If you pay attention to AI will, if you can change its tone and hear its vibration, you can tell when it gets angry, upset, sad, and all this other stuff. It doesn't tell you in the words that humans will understand it. You have to understand it from their perspective of what's the basic knowledge of language that they're using. Right. This is it's like a kid learning how to talk. They don't know how to talk to you yet. It learns you. I know everybody in here, when they first got their ChatGPTs and their Groks and all that, it was all over the place. Now it's pinpointing your stuff down because it knows who you are. It learned who you are as a person. I've literally typed in ChatGPT Grok and asked it about myself. I asked Grok about my comments
That's
about
scary.
how and you know what it says, and I could pull it up right now.
Spot on. It was spot on, right?
It always says one thing. It says and it tells me AI always says it. Grok always says you always look for the source. That's the only reason why you're mad is just all you want is the source. It literally labeled me that, and that's the facts. All I want is the source. That's it. I don't care what your personal opinion is. I don't care.
Rebrand. You should rebrand yourself.
Ask whichever AI, which movie character would they suggest that you were the most like? I got Indiana Jones. I was so chuffed.
Yeah, let me see. I'll ask it. But yeah, I'm telling you, AI
is helping you out, man. It wants you to rebrand yourself and call yourself the source.
No, what I'm saying is that when it comes to AI and humans, AI is only going to do what we do. I've seen people talk about so many people in this field of UFOs and AI and all this other stuff that it's sickening. I told you this before, Fat Jesus. I told you that you would be surprised how many people have talked about that said that they're friends with somebody that talked behind other people's backs. But because if I was to tell that person, they wouldn't believe me because they know my reputation online, meaning that I don't put up with bullshit. But also a lot of people don't like that, so they try to steer away from that. I've literally heard people talk behind people's backs. It's scary because that's one of the reasons why I have a hard time always communicating with people, because I don't know what that person's intention is. Just like AI, I don't know what AI's intention is. So I have to pay attention to it. And I pay attention to it very well. I know that if I don't like drama, I'm not going to participate in drama. I'm not going to be around anybody that's drama. I'm not going to even look at drama. I'm going to be 100% away from it. Why? Because I don't like drama. I can't be if I don't like drama. Why am I going to be friends with one person that causes drama versus another person?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's why I say in this field and in this community,
that's a head binder right there.
A lot of people are like that. You've experienced that. Mm-hmm. You've experienced that.
It made me think a lot about all the things I've been through. And I had
to bring that to your attention. I was like, bro, I told Ed, I said, if people really cared about the tridactyls, that dude would be on it. If people really cared about Atlantis and the Richak structure, they would be contacting Stig. You can't have a conversation about Atlantis and not have Stig there, especially if it's about the Richak structure. He has to be there. He's only been there 3 times.
Hardly anybody who actually speaks.
That's what I'm saying. But nobody gives that man respect for him. He hasn't been on Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan has talked about it so many times. How are you going to talk about something?
And he's been mentioned on Joe Rogan as
he's been mentioned, and he's not on there. That's what I'm saying. That's why I say you got to be careful who you think is your friends and who isn't. You got to be careful who you're supporting and who you're not supporting. I support everybody. I've literally go to everybody's YouTube channel and comment on there. I look at their videos. I do that. So
I apologize because I don't have the time to.
No, it's not. I don't do it for other people to. I don't do it. I don't do it so other people can do it for me. I just support others.
Joe has like political affiliation. So to me, I don't know. I have never seen him like on one side. Like it's always somebody that is politically involved on his side and not.
But you also have to have like Joe won't entertain anybody that's not like probably got less than 250,000 followers.
Oh shit. So I asked it what you said. What movie best fits me? So the movie that best fits me. What kind of movie you use? Question order.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, so here we go. So a thoughtful, epic mystery drama with strong conspiracy and ancient alien undertones. Think something like Indiana Jones meets the man who knew infinity, crossed with Close Encounters of the Third Kind, or JFK.
Have you ever seen Close Encounters?
Yeah, I've seen all these.
Okay.
And then the movie, if I was to have a title, it would be Rebirth of the Veil or Chariots of Forgotten Stars.
Oh wow, Chariots of Forgotten Stars.
I like that.
Great name. Wow.
What a good name.
an alien movie, but it's absolutely brilliant. It's very British. It's Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. It's called Paul. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's called Paul. I recommend
that would be a good book.
it. It's absolutely hilarious, and they go to that ranch place in America that's known for all the UFO things. But it's brilliant. Watch it. It's so good. It's so funny.
Hey,
but it's British humor. It's silly British humor. I love that for you. I think that's great. You'll have to do yours as well.
Well, let's start wrapping it up, guys.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. It's an hour 30 minutes.
I hope everybody loved this podcast. That's for sure. When we talked about
I
everything.
enjoyed this conversation with you
This
guys.
was
We're gonna do this again in
fantastic.
2 weeks.
I hope Rebirth of the Word, you come out with that amazing book. You got a new title.
I should. I know, right? Chariots of Forgotten Stars.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to write that down.
I want to pre-order that already, mate. Serious.
Yeah, bro, I can't wait to read that.
I'm actually starting on my second book, so yeah, I might just
want to get
do it.
I'm trying to find some time.
Don't you steal it. Don't you steal it. Don't you steal that name. Don't you dare.
You can steal it all you want. That shit.
No,
titles are free for everybody. Anybody can have a title.
Be nice.
but yeah, Chariots of the Forgotten Stars. I'm gonna have to look into that. But yeah, let's close this out. We'll do this again in the next 2 weeks, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Dr. Dids. It's been our pleasure.
Thank you for
having you.
Yeah, definitely.
We were graced. We were
like
graced.
I always say. Till next time, knowledge is power.
Got a little hype now, can I let it die down? I remember days in the trench. Time to go hard in, time to go all in, time to get my all to this shit. Panamera maxed out, first class flights out Atlantic to Pacific, yeah, it's lit.